But first, his stunning online confession to a deadly drunk driving crash made headlines all across the country. Today, Matthew Cordle is beginning the first day of his prison sentence. We're going to talk to him in a moment, but first, details of his sentencing day.
It should have been me that night, the guilty party, instead of an innocent man.
Matthew Cordle in court, talking about the night he killed Vincent Canzani. Cordle was speeding, drunk, driving the wrong way. The regret he expressed in court, an echo of the emotional video he posted online last month.
When I get charged, I will plead guilty and take full responsibility for everything I've done to Vincent and his family.
That video has been viewed more than 2 million times, and the judge played it in court during Cordle's sentencing hearing. But the victim's daughter spoke out, calling the video self-serving.
The message I do not want to send is if you hit and kill someone, all you have to do is admit to it later and get leniency.
In the end, the judge sentenced Cordle to 6.5 years in prison, 2 years short of the maximum. Lawyers on both sides say they're satisfied with the decision. Cordle's attorney says his client just hopes that others learn from his tragic mistake.
I'm begging you, please don't drink and drive.
Matthew Cordle is with us now, along with his attorneys, Martin Midian and George Breitmeyer. Gentlemen, good morning to all of you.
Good morning,
Matt.
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 Matthew, let me start with you. You heard the sentence yesterday. You'll spend the next 6.5 years behind bars. What was your immediate reaction?
Relief that this thing is finally over. I've been sentenced, and hopefully the victim's family can start to move forward and find peace. Something I pray for.
Relief is an interesting word.
Yes.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I mean, it could have been longer. It could have been about 8 years. But weren't you hoping for a lighter sentence?
I was just hoping to get sentenced. That was all. I've accepted the fact that I'm going to get sentenced, and it's going to be between 2 and 8 years. And as I said in the courtroom, there's no real fair sentence for the loss of a life. So I just hope that the family can move forward from this.
I want to go back to that now famous YouTube video that you posted in September. Some have called it an act of bravery, an act of character, and yet there are others who say you knew that this investigation was pointing at you all along, and you probably suspected you were about to be arrested. And the cynic out there says this was an act of trying to save your skin. How do you respond to that?
It's just, I mean, if you have something on that wide of a scale, you're going to have so many different opinions on it, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I was actually being investigated for it. The video was not meant to be a confession. It was meant to prevent drinking and driving, and hopefully prevent the senseless loss of lives.
But it wasn't a transparent attempt to try to get a lighter sentence?
No, I believe any lawyers, including my own, would tell you that abandoning your defense and pleading guilty is not a way to get a lighter sentence.
Let me talk to you about what Mr. Canzani's daughter Angela said just before you were sentenced. She said 8.5 years was nothing, that her father got a death sentence, and when you get out of jail, you'll have your whole life ahead of you, and he'll never get his life back. What was it like to stand in court and hear those words?
It was heartbreaking because every word she said is true. In the scheme of things, 2 to 8 years is nothing for taking someone's life. He won't have any years left. He won't have any time left to see his family. So that's something I'll have to live with, and hopefully I'll be able to move on myself.
And to spend, as I mentioned, probably more than 6 years behind bars. You've accepted responsibility, and you've apologized. You also said you will not let Vincent's memory fade, that you'll do everything you can to prevent the senseless loss of life from drunk driving. How do you plan on accomplishing that over these next 6.5 years?
It's going to be more difficult from behind bars, but and obviously I don't know every avenue I can take yet, but once I get to prison, hopefully I'll be able to speak out in some form or manner, and I'll weigh up all my options and consider doing the best thing possible, possibly putting it in other people's hands as well.
I think the judge even said that he would like to see, as the holiday season begins, your face up on billboards with the message, "I drank and I drove and I took a life. Would you agree to being, and I don't mean to make light of this, the poster boy for drinking and driving?
I didn't want to, get glorified by this. But if I, have to be the poster boy for this thing, then I want people to know that, I'm not a hero, I'm not courageous, I did a decent thing, and I'm a cautionary tale.
Matthew Cordle, Martin Midian, and George Breitmeyer. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Matthew, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
And as we say, he starts this sentence today, 6.5 years. Yeah. About half a year in a jail, then 6 years in a prison.
Well, he's taking responsibility and paying the price, but as he himself acknowledged, nothing compared to what that victim
That's right.
pay.
Forever, his life is forever going to be about trying to honor that victim.